Hey friends, Michael and I are going to show y'all how easy it is to steam shrimp. Shrimp is probably one of the easiest of the seafoods to cook, but yet it's probably the top seafood that people have a tendency to overcook, right, Michael?
Yeah, it's easy to overcook them.
Yeah, like when we're doing low country ball, I don't leave my shrimp in there any more than 3 minutes. I mean, it's just that quick. So we are gonna steam these in the air fryer. And I was asking Teresa, that girl was born and raised here on these waters, but I can't remember, when does shrimp season start?
It's usually when it's warm. The brown shrimp come out first.
Oh, it's warm.
Well, no, it's another month.
Another month, okay. So around the 1st of May?
Yeah.
Okay, so these shrimp came from the grocery store because the wild Georgia shrimp are not coming in yet. Here, I'm gonna do this. There we go. So it won't stinky up our board. These are beautiful, beautiful shrimp. And what'd you find, a shrimp hair? Ooh, there's another shrimp hair. Those won't hurt a thing, y'all. All right, so I am asking y'all, if you're doing them in the air fryer, to heat your air fryer. And I'm just gonna sprinkle these good with some type of seafood ball. I'm using Old Bay, which is what we kind of like. Think it needs some more, Mikey?
It won't hurt.
Okay, just a little bit more. Shrimp hairs bother you.
Well, that's how we used to pick them up with the heads on. So.
Yes, and I just love them cooked with heads on. I mean, they're just spectacular. All right. Now, remember that any type of your fish balls or crab balls, it's gonna have salt in it. So you don't wanna salt those. But I have put a cup of water into our air fryer. You hear it sizzling because we're just gonna steam these shrimp. Now I'm gonna squeeze a little lemon juice into our water. But you may prefer like a white wine or something like that. I got some lemon slices here. I'll just throw those on top because a lot of people down here like the lemon taste. So we're just gonna sit this basket right down in there. That's one of those accessories that you can get with my air fryer. So I'm gonna set this, I'm gonna watch it so close, y'all. Yeah, I've got it set on 5 minutes, but I don't know that it will take that long. They're gonna turn pink. And when they turn pink, they're done. Now, when I'm serving shrimp, steamed shrimp, or shrimp in a low country ball, I like to have cocktail sauce on hand and my homemade tartar sauce, which my homemade tartar sauce is so good, isn't it?
Yeah.
And melted butter, because I, being Miss Piggy, I like to dip it in that butter and then run it through that tartar sauce. Actually, I like to dip it in the butter, suck the shrimp, suck the shell and all, because that's where all that pungent shrimp taste is. And then I peel them, and then I like to dip them in tartar. It's like a ritual for me. So we preheated for about 10 minutes a cup of water in our air fryer so that they could start cooking immediately. All right, they're doing okay. But like I said, I'm gonna keep my eye on them.
Now, Michael, can you shrimp in Turner's Creek, or do you have to be out on the river?
No, The only way you can shrimp in Turner's Creek is if you're a bait fisherman. So nobody can really do that.
What do you mean a bait fisherman?
You have to have a special license to catch bait for fishermen. So
What now, shrimps?
On the creek.
In the
but,
creek.
But out on the river, you can.
But they only open the sound a
You're
few
talking about
months
the
a
little
year.
bitty shrimp that people would use for bait.
Well, yeah, they can be big though
Yeah,
in the creeks.
Yeah.
But then you have to go 3 miles offshore to fish shrimp. But then there's a few months out of the year they open up the sound. Then that's when everybody's
I
fishing.
was gonna
the
say,
sound.
now I remember when we were living at River Bend, that you said that as a boy, you and Hank,
Oh, we used to steal shrimp.
oh, sorry about that. Cause right out at the end of the dock house, right across the river, you said that was one good hole for you and Hank to catch shrimp.
Between the two bridges was our go-to spot. And Mama, she really got onto us because she was so honest. She said, "Don't, that's stealing." And then she realized how many shrimp we were catching, so she would get us to go with her. She'd go with us.
So maybe you were just borrowing them. But it's not like crab traps. You know, the crabbers put their traps out all over, and you don't ever.
That's
Ever.
robbing.
That is robbing people. You don't ever mess with somebody else's
No.
crab traps.
That's their livelihood.
That is their livelihood, yes, and that's nothing to play with. But those holes out there in the ocean, they just.
Now casting, you can cast it all you want. And,
Oh, well, that's what y'all used to do.
Yeah, we Nick and I got where we taped our nets and we went casting in these deep holes, and we got hooked on it. I mean, we had a freezer full of shrimp, but we couldn't stop. It was
You were addicted.
normally when you cast it up in the marsh, it's
All right. Oh, ouch. All right, I'm gonna toss our shrimp. You can see that they're getting pink. See, like that one's half pink and half raw.
But anyhow, we got hooked on it. I can remember one Christmas, I had to go, I went and I said, "Gosh, there's already a boat there." And got to the boat, it was Nick. So if you do it on Christmas, you know you're hooked on it.
Yeah.
Then they made that illegal, and then now it's legal again.
Okay. Well, I don't get that. I mean, the ocean belongs to everybody. God,
Well,
all of us.
we were catching a lot of shrimp. They were afraid that we were going to catch
There
them.
is no way you could have shrimped out that
Well,
river.
that's why they made it legal again, because one shrimp boat can catch more than every
Yes.
caster in the
Yes.
country.
You know, one of my favorite Thanksgiving memories is after I moved into Turner's Cove. And it may have been our first Thanksgiving together, or maybe our second. I had to quit going to Statesboro for Thanksgiving. This is when I started the restaurant business. So, but I did take that Thanksgiving day off. And Aunt Peggy came, and it was all of us. And we were sitting there at the dinner table, and Nick said, "Gosh, it's perfect time to go catch some fish." So he put Aunt Peggy and I he loaded us two up, put us in his boat, and we went down to where all the shrimp boats stay.
Yeah.
I mean, almost in front of my condo.
Right.
I'm telling you what, we caught a bucket full of spot tail.
Yeah.
Aunt Peggy was pulling in him so fast, and I'd put mine down right beside hers, and she as soon as she put hers in, she was pulling out spot tails like this. That was so much fun.
It is fun when they're biting.
Yes. Okay. Michael, just that quick. I think that these are ready. Well, maybe just like another minute or two. Not much though. I saw a little gray
Yeah.
spot on one or two of
The
them.
way I check is if there's a little gap on the back where the shell's coming away from the.
Yeah.
That's usually a good indicator.
Yeah. And you don't want that meat coming off that shell.
No, that tells you it's done.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's call these done. So I didn't melt any butter, but I would like to dip that in butter. Boy, Heidi, Michael, that lemon sure did flavor it, didn't it?
Uh huh.
Oh, and this is a beautiful size shrimp. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. You're a turd. That's a little spicy. Tart. Yum.
I think that's loaded with carbs too.
What? This?
Yeah.
Well, don't dip.
I'm not.
All right, you got a secret to peeling them?
Yeah, I peel them different than Paula.
Well, I start right here.
Oh no, you do it right now.
I've always done it that way.
Somebody started at the tail.
You don't start at the
No.
tail?
No, you start at the head
And end up at the tail.
and you just grab their
And then
legs
you
and kind of peel out and
squeeze.
squeeze the tail. And it comes right out.
Those are perfectly cooked. How long would you say we steamed them? 5 minutes?
What much more than 5 minutes?
You just want to keep a good eye on them. And, just toss them with your spatula
If you
or spoon.
if
whatever you
overcook
use.
them, they're not just
They're like a
inedible,
eraser.
but they're really difficult to get out the shell. So by the time you eat them, you're frustrated.
These are cooked perfect. Yum. I don't mind working for my food once in a while, do you?
Love it.
So, if you got an air fryer and you've got access to shrimp, this is a wonderful way to prepare them. And darn, I want my melted butter. Look at that, cooked to perfection. Happy shrimping, y'all. Hey y'all, it's Paula Dean. Now, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it and click the subscribe button as well as the notification bell to be alerted when I post a video. Love and best dishes, y'all.